Welcome to Weekday Somatics. Take just a moment in silence to begin. So you may do so however you wish. We'll just be still and silent for a moment. Okay, so let's choose a posture that we can inhabit with confidence for the next 30 minutes, give or take. And I'd like to invite you to become clearer than you have ever been on what that confidence really is, what the actual experience is. And to do so, I'd like you to choose a posture that you believe that you can remain as physically still as possible in this posture for the next 30 minutes without strain. So that's a very advanced thing, because I'm inviting us to embrace both sides of the coin, so to speak, where we utilize our will, meaning we choose through our will to remain still. And at the same time, we embrace this seemingly opposing quality of surrender. So we are going to do both simultaneously. And we can discover through this how both sides of the coin actually are not separate, but are one. So the mechanical mind can't make sense of that, because the mechanical mind says that my will and surrender are opposing. So the way that the mechanical mind knows to do these things is inadequate for this purpose, for this inquiry. So we have to transcend that duality. We have to transcend the mechanical mind, and we have to lift ourselves to that which is beyond that duality. But that does not negate the apparent duality, so that we can play with these seeming polar opposites, my will and surrender to the divine will. And we begin to play by setting up these seeming polarities and then remaining as that which is neither of the polarities. We create the conditions that allow us to more clearly recognize our wholeness, our purpose, our power, the truth. So let's explore how this works in practice. We've chosen a posture, and we're choosing to remain as restfully still as possible. It's not a restraint still quality, it's a restful stillness. To remain still, which is our intention, we are choosing to do so. We are utilizing our will But in order to make good on that, we have to be aware of every arising impulse, all the arising phenomena. And we have to become relentlessly honest. We have to start to see how it is that we habitually go unconscious, how we habitually indulge habits of fear and anger and victimization. And we have to see how those indulgences require that we move. We make subtle or not so subtle movements. So there are physical movements at the gross level, and then there are physical movements at a subtler level, and then those movements become subtler still. And we could say that those are energetic movements, but we can be aware of all of these movements from the gross level to the subtler. And we're choosing stillness. So we have to be aware of all of the impulses, gross level impulses and the subtle impulses. And then we surrender. How do we surrender? We have to acknowledge my ways have failed. My habits are unsatisfying. As long as I keep believing that my ways, my habits are going to produce a desirable outcome, I will continue to indulge them. I have to become honest. I have to see truthfully. All of these impulses are going to play out. This is what's called karma. These impulses are stored in the body, the gross level body, the subtle body. The only question is it going to play out in a devastating way? In a way that will produce more pain, more suffering, more harm? Or is it going to play out at a subtle level of consciousness, so that it doesn't produce ripple effects, so that it ends here, so that what needs to be seen can be seen? And what we're doing here is we're allowing for all of this all of these impressions, all of this momentum, all of the habits to play out at a subtler level, so that the effects are contained. They don't ripple. We can begin to become selective. We can surrender what is not in alignment with our truth, so that it returns to the source, becomes undifferentiated. This is an act of profound love. Love for oneself, love for the world, love for consciousness, love for all that is. So we have to see how powerful this is, how important it is, how necessary it is. Because if we don't, then we'll be wishy-washy. One day we'll be willing. The next day we say, I don't know about today. Today it's too hard. Today I'm afraid. Today I have doubts. Today I'm uncomfortable. So we have to actually see that this is for good. We have to see how this actually produces real results at all levels of our existence. Otherwise, we can't really commit to it. So let's each take a look for ourselves right now and tell the deepest truth. Will I be satisfied? Will I be truly fulfilled if I don't take a stand? If I don't make the commitment? If I just let things continue to play out however they do? See, that's an immature understanding of surrender. The immature understanding of surrender is, well, I'll just let it all play out however it does. If I'm angry, if I have angry impulses, I'll just be angry and wait until that goes away so that I can have the good feelings that I want. The more mature understanding, the understanding that comes through actually inquiring and seeing directly, is that true surrender is to surrender everything always, right now, to its source, to my source, to the source. There's a sneaky voice, introduces doubt, and we have made the mistake of letting that voice in close as our advisor, our guide. We trust it, but we shouldn't. That sneaky voice is always saying, yeah, but, and I don't know, maybe. It doesn't want to take a stand. It doesn't want you to take a stand. And the reason it doesn't want you to take a stand is because it can only exist when you are unconscious. It's only interested in its own continuation at any cost. Doesn't care how much war, how much terror, how much hatred, how much pain is a result. It only wants to continue. And its existence is identical to unconsciousness. So as you continue to rest while remaining aware, so remaining restfully still, surrendering everything so that you become more and more deeply restful. You have to tell the truth. Do not allow yourself to lie to yourself any longer. Do not hold on. Do not grip. Do not endure. Do not use violence against yourself, all the while calling it something else. Tell the deeper truth. Refuse to utilize violence. Refuse to grip. So as we continue to explore in our direct experience in this way, I'm going to tell you a brief story. It's a story that I'll paraphrase from Vasishta's yoga. It was once an elephant and this elephant was taken as a baby by a cruel man and was tethered, tied to a stake, and the man treated the elephant badly. As the elephant grew, the elephant became, as elephants do, quite large, powerful. But the elephant didn't recognize his power, because the elephant perceived himself to be the victim of this cruel man. But one day, by chance, the elephant escaped. The elephant discovered the joys of freedom. And so some time went on and the elephant enjoyed his freedom, and then he encountered this man again, and the man said, "That's my elephant. You're mine." Now this elephant was powerful, much more powerful than the man. And in fact, he could have crushed that man in that moment. But he didn't, because he looked at the man and he felt sorry for the man. But he went on his way, and knowing that the man didn't have the ability to control him. So the elephant went on and continued to enjoy his freedom, but this man had this hardness, this anger, this resentment, this frustration festering inside of him. And all he could think about was this elephant and how it was his elephant. And so he set about trapping the elephant. And he did trap the elephant. And he put that elephant in a cage. It's not a very happy story, but it's an important story. It's about the lies we tell ourselves, how we allow darkness and evil, which has no power in and of itself, to have power over us. This false advisor twists everything around. When we hear to be gentle, it twists that so that we continue to be violent toward ourselves, and we are gentle only with evil. The advisor says, surrender means don't take a stand. And we believe it. But look to your direct experience and see the lies of that advisor. That advisor is a festering deceit. It is not the truth. The truth in direct experience reveals that true gentleness is gentleness to oneself and a relentless uprooting of all evil. What is evil? Lies, darkness. What is not true, not real? So we have to take a stand if we are serious, if we're serious about true freedom, if we're actually serious about love. We have to take a stand in this world. At the level of pure, undifferentiated awareness, we can't take a stand. There's no one to take a stand. But we're mixing levels if we think that that applies at any other level. We have to take a stand so that we aren't blown here and there by the whims of the impulses, the impressions, the karmas, the whatever you want to call it. When we just allow ourselves to be blown about, we become adrift, lost, no map, no compass, no stars, no light, only darkness, only pain, only confusion. If we're sincere about wanting a way out of that, we have to take a stand. We have to be relentless. We have to be courageous. And we have to understand the truth of gentleness so that we apply it correctly. Who are we being gentle with? We're being gentle with ourselves. So notice, who are you presently? Are you the thoughts? Are you the fears? Are you the anger? Get really clear on that. Because if you're not clear, you'll continue to apply gentleness in the wrong way. You'll be gentle with the fears and the thoughts. You'll say, oh, poor thoughts, poor fears. And meanwhile, you'll continue unconsciously to be violent with yourself, to push yourself, to overlook the strain, to overlook the ways in which you hurt yourself. So put it in the right order. You are pure awareness. Recognize that now. You are the one who is aware. You are aware. You are aware of thoughts. You are aware of sensation. You are aware of sound. You are aware of your experience. This awareness is all powerful. All power arises from awareness. See the truth of that in your direct experience. See how every thought arises in awareness and disappears in awareness. See how every sensation arises in awareness and dissolves into awareness. See how every memory arises from awareness and dissolves into awareness. Every phenomenon arises in awareness, dissolves in awareness. You, as you conceive yourself, arise in awareness and dissolve in awareness. You, as you truly are that awareness. When the waves rise and fall, they do not harm the ocean. When the phenomena arise and fall, they do not harm consciousness. You are untouched by the phenomena. True gentleness with yourself means a refusal to hurt yourself. So look to see how you hurt yourself. How does pure awareness hurt itself? Watch it in your actual experience. See how this is actually happening now. Become aware of yourself as pure awareness. You don't have to get rid of anything. You don't have to change anything. Pure awareness is already here. You are aware. It's not something separate from you. It's not something unfamiliar. It's so intimately familiar you overlook it. But it's just the simple fact that you are aware. Everything else is added to that. So for just a moment, stay with this recognition of yourself as pure awareness, not needing to negate anything else. Just notice that everything else comes and goes in this pure awareness. And then observe, how do you as pure awareness hurt yourself? now I'll propose an answer to that question. And look to your direct experience right now and see the truth of it. You hurt yourself by contracting and then believing yourself to be that. That contraction is a lie. It's not who you are. If you invert the instruction to be gentle and apply it to the false self, the contraction, then you enable the lie to continue. So see how every phenomenon is arising in you. See that you are aware of it. And then vow to remain gentle with yourself. Profoundly gentle, so gentle that you refuse to lie, that you refuse to lie to yourself that you are any of these things, that you are touched by any of these things, that you need to react to any of these things, that you need to control any of these things, that any of these things have anything to do with you. Your very nature is beyond gentle. That polarity collapses, the polarity of violence and gentleness collapses into this unified field of awareness that is at once profoundly gentle and profoundly fierce. It is unsettling to discover just how powerful you really truly are. Because you know that if you channel that power into the lies, that's hell. So take responsibility and channel that power into true gentleness, true love. Which means remaining awake, not allowing yourself to be lulled into another stupor of victimization. So see this movement we start from a sense of ourselves as a false self, a victim, struggling, frustrated, stuck. Then we utilize some simple techniques to shift to subtler and subtler states of consciousness, from me and my life and my body and my problems to awareness of the inner phenomena, and then subtler still until we recognize ourselves as pure awareness, unbounded, clear, infinite, complete, undifferentiated. And then from this ultimate power, we begin to make choices and allow those choices to move through the subtle layers, bringing transformation to the inner world, the thoughts, the sensations, the memories. And then allowing that to shine all the way into our manifest lives to bring true transformation, so that there can be a continuum rather than falsely distinct layers. We can actually maintain awareness of awareness through all of these subtle layers and into the gross layers of experience. So let's do that consciously one time together. Be aware of yourself as you normally conceive of yourself, as a body with your name, your relationships, your place that you live, your story of your life, your challenges. Then become aware of the subtler aspects of yourself, these subtle bodies, your thoughts, sensations, memories. Notice how these subtle aspects are actually, in reality, unrelated phenomena. It's only out of habit that we put them together to assemble our outer identity, our outer world. But when we allow our awareness to rest gently on these subtler qualities of our inner world, we start to notice that they are unrelated. Simply sounds, images, sensations, vibrations, all unrelated, all unconnected, not having anything to do with one another, not having the meanings that we thought that they had. So we're dissolving these impressions, we're dissolving the habits by seeing clearly. recognizing what it truly is. It was only ever darkness, the darkness of unconsciousness, the darkness of not seeing, not looking. It was only ever false. It was just a mistaken perception. So don't insist on the mistaken perception. See clearly now. See that they're unrelated phenomena. Allow it to dissolve and allow yourself to become aware of yourself as pure awareness. Now, in pure awareness, a desire begins to arise. It's a very pure desire. It's a very, very subtle desire. It's the desire of your true heart. You who are light, this desire is a subtle expression of your true nature, your pure nature. This subtle expression, this subtle desire is a desire for unconditional love made manifest. Or we could call it bliss, or we could call it joy, or we could call it peace. You know that this is the truest desire because it's what you always come back to. It's what's underneath all of the other things. It's your true desire. It's innocent. Now, let us begin to consciously allow for this pure desire to move through the subtle layers of experience, free of the clutter of our past conditioning, our past ways, so that we can begin to consciously allow for this pure desire to take shape in its purest way through these layers, all the way into the gross level of experience. So see in the subtle layer of experience how the pure desire of unconditional love or peace or joy lightly touches and begins to give shape at a subtle level, so that you can begin to experience these vibrations, these subtle thought forms, these subtle sensations, these subtle sounds that express that pure love. Remain true to that. Just stay with that pure love and let it begin to actually take shape. Trust and know that this is possible. It can happen. It is happening now if you direct your intention and your attention and you are willing. Allow pure love to begin to vibrate and give subtle form at these subtle layers of experience, so that you are aware of the subtle thought forms that express that pure love, the subtle sensations and feelings that express that pure love. Let them gently bubble up in awareness through your subtle levels of experience. Continue to take shape. Begin to see the subtle forms as images. Perhaps you see pure light. It doesn't matter if you're a good visualizer or not. Just know that it works as long as you're open and willing. You don't have to actually see anything, just imagining, believing, being willing, open. Pure light, gentle warmth, the subtle sounds that may be reminiscent of beautiful experiences you've had in nature, but you don't even have to have a specific idea of them. Just allow them to bubble up so that you can begin to feel and experience the truth of unconditional love in your inner world at a subtle level, so that you get a sense of what this experience is, because this is your desire. Your desire is to have the experience, the manifest experience of this. So allow it to begin to take shape in your inner world so that you can taste it and touch it and feel it and smell it and think it and hear it. You can visualize it, imagine it. It becomes a holistic, multi-sensory inner experience. And it may be very subtle or it may be not so subtle, but just allow it to continue. And then allow for this to continue to move into your outer world. So imagine that light radiating through your skin out into the world. Imagine the sounds, the vibrations emanating from your body. And allow for that abundant, pure love to shine and vibrate and radiate into the world, blessing all. Knowing that you are one with this truth. You are one with this love. Now we're going to begin to slowly transition to our waking state of consciousness. And as we do so, just be observant to see what habits arise that begin to introduce the old negativity, the old violent tendencies, the old lies. And don't dismay. Give thanks in seeing that, because as you see them, they are being seen in this light. So they're automatically, when you bring this pure intention into your manifest world, then anything that the light of awareness shines upon, in other words, anything you become aware of, automatically is in that light. And that light dissolves all that is false. So you don't need to make any effort. Just remain present, remain aware. Don't betray yourself by indulging the lies. Don't give your energy to the dismay, to the disappointment, to the frustration, to the discouragement, to the depression, to all of the rest of it. Instead, give thanks when those habits arise, knowing that you are aware. You are that pure light. That light is what illuminates what you are aware of. And in that illumination, the darkness, the falseness is dissolved and returns to its source as pure awareness, as you. Become aware of the body. Become aware of the breath. Become aware of the inner body, the organs, the bones, the muscles, connective tissue. Become aware of the skin. Become aware of the sensations of the skin in contact with the air and with the clothing. Become aware of the support under your body, the point of contact, the sensation of that contact, the stability of that support. Become aware of the magnitude of that support, that you are resting upon and fully supported by the entire earth. Feel that connection with the earth. Surrender the unnecessary effort to the earth. Slowly move your fingers to reacquaint yourself with moving the body. Gently rub the hands together. And if it's comfortable for you, you can place the hands over the eyes. Let the hands rest on the face in a way that is comfortable and nourishing. And let the hands gently slide down the cheeks. And let them come all the way down to rest. And at your own pace, and careful not to disturb anything, very slowly, if your eyes have been closed, begin to open the eyes. Do it very slowly and only when you're ready, because we've taken all this time to produce this profound effect on the inner world and the physiology. So let's not disturb that by flinging the eyes open. Let's slowly open the eyes so that we can integrate the sensory experience, the visual field, slowly into this change in the inner world, so that the inner change can shine out into the outer world. I'm going to momentarily end the recording of the formal inquiry. And as usual, I want to say a few words before I do, particularly for those who watch the recording who don't have the benefit of the Q&A. Because for those of us who remain for the Q&A, we have an opportunity to integrate this experience, which today was pretty fiery. So it's possible this was a bit provocative. And if so, trust that that's what's needed. There really are no mistakes. Whatever your experience of this inquiry has been, and whatever your experience is moving into your day or evening or whatever time it might be for you, know that you are powerful. When I say you are powerful, who am I talking about? I'm talking about you as pure awareness. You are the ultimate power. There is no greater power. No harm can come to you. Still, there are fears of harm. The fears arise. The fears are whispered in your ear by that false counselor. That false counselor says, you need to do something about this. You need to pay attention to this. You need to figure it out. You need to fix it. You need to worry about it. You, as pure awareness, have this ultimate power. It's not the power that you think you need. It's a power far greater than that. It's a power that goes beyond just creating. In this exploration, which I made more explicit today, or maybe I should say, which was made more explicit today, we can see something of that more holistic power, the power to choose, the power to say no, the power to dissolve. You are not a victim. You don't have to keep creating more stuff to fix the problems that you perceive that you have because of what you've already created. When you do so, you're operating from fear based on the wrong understanding of yourself and life as it truly is. Your power is much greater than that. Your power is a power to choose, a power to choose who do I recognize myself to be? What is the truth? Your power is a power to dissolve, to surrender, to allow what has already been created to return to its undifferentiated source. That's its nature. The wave rises, the wave falls. When we keep trying to make the wave rise, pretty soon we have a tsunami. That's why the way that we go about trying to fix all our problems only makes things worse, because we try to fix the problems by adding more. Soon we have a tsunami. This inquiry reveals to you your holistic power. And that power of choice, by the way, is an extraordinary power that has many aspects to it. You can, if you utilize this inquiry, you will start to see all of the aspects of that power of choice. It's not limited in the way that you think. The way that we normally conceive of that power of choice is I can either have vanilla or I can have chocolate. The true power of choice is beyond that. It's a power that you can actually choose where you place your attention. If there's a false dichotomy, chocolate or vanilla, you can actually choose to see beyond that, to see that that's the effect that's not satisfying. You can choose to be more inclusive in your perception, to begin to perceive the unrelated subtle phenomena as they really are, to begin to witness where they come from and where they return to, and to become that, so that you can have great leverage rather than this false choice. You can either you can stay in an unhappy marriage or you can get an unhappy divorce. False dichotomy. Come back. Choose wholeness. Choose to recognize your power. Choose to create afresh rather than adding more layers onto this displeasing tsunami. So this is all very powerful. This has been a very, very powerful inquiry. The truth is that if you really can recognize what I'm pointing at here, you are invulnerable in reality. not out here. Nobody's invulnerable out here. And when you really recognize that, then that's it. You're home. When the doubts arise and you don't have the presence to recognize that, to apply this inquiry, to really recognize what's happening, to make choice, when you get caught up in the drama of it, when you become gripped by your own gripping of fear, when you perceive yourself to be a victim, if you don't have the clarity and the resources to be able to help yourself in this way, then help yourself any way that is possible. As I often suggest, if you have the luxury to do so, just lie down for a few moments, close your eyes, relax the breathing, let it all go. You'll be amazed how powerful that is. If you're finding that you're getting stressed and worried, just make a commitment. Just say, I'm going to lie down for 5 minutes, and for 5 minutes, I'm not going to give attention to my fearful thoughts. I will give myself permission to come back to it. You can even write it down on a piece of paper. Here's my problem that I'm going to come back to in 5 minutes so I don't forget about it. So you don't have to have that worry, like I might forget about the problem. No, write it down so you know, here's my problem. I'm going to set it down and then write down the commitment. I commit to let go of this completely for 5 minutes. Put the paper down, lie down for 5 minutes. Honor your commitment. Let it go completely. Don't give attention to the thoughts. Remain with the subtler phenomena and just see that it's all just passing by. It's being released. It's dissolving. Just let it happen. Then when you're done with that, if you want to go back to the problem, you can go back to the problem. It's fine. But you'll see it's very powerful. Just give yourself that space. If you can't lie down, just keep your attention with the breath. Let it be an uncontrolled breath. Just stay with it. You'll see, though, even though you're not controlling it, through awareness, it will naturally start to slow down. If all else fails, you can reach out to me. You can send me an email. I don't want anybody to suffer unnecessarily. Okay, so I'm going to end the recording for this portion now. Thanks for joining.